So we were debating not to do this topic, and I think it's something that we hesitated on. We actually got a few people who recommended that we discuss this in one of the podcast episodes, and we kept kind of pushing it. We kept kind of saying, I don't know if it's a good idea, you know.
We don't want to insult anybody.
We don't want to insult anybody because we know our families listen to the podcast, or some of them do. But you know what? Screw it.
This is for entertainment purposes.
Let's do it, and let's see where it goes.
Absolutely.
And we want to talk about in-laws.
Oh.
Okay. We know some of you have incredible relationships with your in-laws, which is fantastic. As we do.
We're very lucky that we do.
We're very lucky, but the two of us have also been in situations where we haven't had the best relationships.
We've had encounters with the devil.
Yes.
Oh, I sure did.
And which I would love for you to elaborate, but you won't.
Oh, no. Maybe in the future.
Okay. But we figured we'd open up about what we go through with our in-laws, and maybe you can relate. Because I know some of you, and I feel for you who don't have good relationships with your in-laws.
Yeah, I feel like that's awkward. It's tough. I can't imagine the tension and strain it must put on the relationship between the couple, and then how it translates over to the family. Gatherings are uncomfortable. Holidays, birthdays, everything just becomes like you dread it.
Yeah.
Getting together with your in-laws, and luckily, you and I, in the situation that we're in, we don't feel that way.
Yeah,
we're very lucky in our current situation.
Very fortunate, because I've been in a situation where you kind of feel that your family isn't 100% about who you're with, and that's never a good combination. It's just, it always feels awkward, and you can kind of feel it in the air. Right? You can feel the energy.
Do you ever?
And
it's awkward for everybody, and you almost don't even want to go to these gatherings. Because you're scared to be around your family when you're with your partner, whether it be your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. So
one thing that I had to get used to, and we'll open up about this. Why the hell not? We've been together for
5 years today.
Yeah, 5 years today, actually.
5 years today we met.
And I've realized, so Tina has like a really close relationship with her family.
I have a big fat Italian family.
Big fat Italian family, but you and your parents are really, really tight.
I'm an only child.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Yes, thank you for realizing that. Even though you rub it in my face every once in a while, that it's too much.
No, I don't say, look, I just, here's my take. I am not used to that. I guess it's just been different for me. There's no right or wrong.
No, there isn't.
For me, I guess it was just a different type of dynamic.
Why? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. We're also more kids, it was just different upbringing. I don't know what it was.
Culture, language,
whatever. I don't know if is there really an answer to that. I guess certain cultures are tighter with their families, or at least it seems that way.
Yeah, it seems that way.
It seems that way.
Especially here in Montreal. We see that very common. European families are more close-knit. Middle Eastern, some Southeast Asian families, they're all very close.
So for me, I guess it took some time for me to get used to how every decision and every little thing that we do has to be reported.
No, it doesn't.
And a lot of things are talked about.
Not 100% of the time.
Maybe 98% of the things that happen.
99 maybe.
Despite our sex life. Outside
that they don't need to know. But
there's a lot of shit I'll tell you something that happened to me at work, or I don't know.
No. Anything that you've told me about work, I have not reported back to my parents, because I know you mean my parents more than anybody else. So there's times when you've told me, please don't say anything, and I've respected that.
Yeah, but there's other times I guess I'm surprised that you've told them.
Why? We have an open relationship with my parents, and I can say the same with my cousins, aunts and uncles, even my friends.
Yeah.
We're all very close and talk about every detail almost of our lives. We're very personal that way.
But it's incredible. I didn't even have, and I've told you this before, I didn't have a lot of family dinners growing up at the dinner table.
That's unheard of with my family.
I know, and I think it's just because my father worked late hours and we were all over the place, and then my brother, my sister, and my mother, and they were just like, I don't know if she like gave up at one point. She was like, "This is just too much. You're too rowdy." So the fact that, but the fact that you like the dynamic you have with your family, it's nice. It's great.
Thank you.
No, I look. There's pros and cons. I believe there's good and bad to everything.
Yeah.
So, and you're wondering what the bad is?
Oh, I want to know, please.
No, but for me, I'm just different. I'm different.
You're not that different.
No, okay.
Because you've assimilated pretty well into my family, but yet
Yes.
5 years later, you still seem surprised when I share certain details with my family, or that we get together very often, or used to pre-pandemic, or cook up certain meals at every occasion. That you just seem so surprised that we still do certain things or share certain details with each other about our lives.
But I love your family. And
I know you love my family.
There's definitely part of me that's envious of it. I'm like, man, I wish I was that close to like. I know you don't even have siblings, but you're closer to your cousins than I am.
You're like my siblings.
Yeah, you like your siblings, and I wish I talk to my siblings more, and I almost wish like my mother and I like we talk enough, but to the point where we don't talk. We probably should even talk more. Do you know what I mean? Because I see what you have. But mind you, it's a mother-daughter thing too.
I think so too. I was gonna say,
yeah,
but I think since you've been with me, you've had a closer relationship with your mother, and you've actually spoken to her. You speak to her more often, or FaceTime, or share certain details about our life with her more than you ever did from what you've told me in while being in your previous relationships.
And you've helped with that. You've
I
helped
hope
with that
so.
a lot.
I mean,
No,
your mother is a great person, and I don't see why you wouldn't touch base with her. I mean, she told me that back in the day, maybe 10, 15 years ago, she would listen to the radio to make sure that you were alive. That's how little contact you made it seem that you had with her, which to me is shocking. Like, I text my parents, I text my mom all day long, practically. We call each other.
Your parents 5 times a day.
About that. No, I'd say maybe like 3 on average.
Every meal.
Well, because they want to see the kids. I think it's the only reason why. If I was working all day long, they wouldn't be FaceTiming me or calling as often as we do.
See,
I think it's because I'm home. That's the difference. And they have 2 grandchildren that they want to see.
I think that it's pretty impressive how Tina can be like, oh, I need a new, I don't know, light, or I need a new doorknob or something. And she can literally tell her mother or tell her parents, and then an hour later they'll be here with it.
Yeah, that kind of just happened over the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
With our renovations.
That's why I bring it up, because it's friggin' impressive. Like
it is, and I'm very lucky that my parents have always been that way. Like if I need something, like okay, my parents own a clothing store, as you know. If ever I needed a top, a dress, pair of pants, whatever, Mom, I need this, and like it would be home the same day. I'm very lucky, and I know it's my situation's very unique in that sense, and we're lucky that my parents can just on a whim go to the store, whereas we can't so much like with the kids, and pick up something that we need. They're and I trust them. That's the thing. We have similar tastes, and I'm not picky. Neither are you. Yeah. When it comes to decorating, so now that we're on this topic, so that my parents went and chose handles for our kitchen island. Yeah. I trust them because they're a heck of a lot nicer than what I picked.
Yeah, I know.
And they work better. And my parents do take your opinion into consideration. Yeah. They do ask you, Vince, do you like this? Tell me if you don't.
Yeah, because there's times when I feel, and maybe you've been in the situation where you don't want it to go too far. Like you want the help, but at the same time you don't want it to go too much.
Right.
To go too much. There still needs to be lines, and your parents have done a good job respecting that.
There's definitely boundaries.
There's times when I worry that that's going to get pushed a little bit.
No,
but
because I think you know that at the end of the day, and I think I know what you mean regarding parenting our children and decisions made towards them in our house, that the final decision will always come down to what we want.
Of course.
We will take my parents, your mother, my family, who I respect and value their opinion on certain topics. We'll take it into consideration. But at the end of the day, we're 2 grown-ass adults, and we're going to make our own decisions about what's best for us.
Well, that's the thing.
And parents will not meddle.
I know. Well, what gets lost sometimes, I believe, again, my opinion, and look, we have such young kids, 2.5 years old and 1 year old. But what gets lost is that there's sometimes there's and we talked about different cultures, very, very tight with their families, which is fantastic. However, there still needs to be a bit of the loosening of the rope in a sense where, listen, we can't forget our daughter or son is 35 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing where it's like, we're not 17. We're
that's
35.
what we feel sometimes, that we're babied by our families. They look at us like we're still the kids that they met.
That's the difference, though.
That's my family.
Exactly. That's the difference I find with mine. I think there's part of it is a gender thing. It is. It's and men and women. It's just different. I think especially with you being an only child and a woman, it's more like, okay, well, got to make sure she's okay.
Exactly. I think it's more of a gender thing than a cultural thing, because I'm looking at my friends who come from all different walks of life, and the girls are all very close to their mothers. Like whether they live in the same city or have a friend who lives in New York, I know they communicate so often with their mothers. And they're not all Italian like me. My friends, they're all different, multicultural. And
it was so surprising, and I'm not sure if I talked about it on any of the podcasts, but when I left home at 25.
Yeah. I left home at 30.
Yeah, but it was shocking because for people who don't know, I'm only half Italian. My mother's not. But that seemed to have made a difference because
I think so.
My mother was all like, I was 24 and I was a boss of a radio station at the time. I wasn't even making good money, but I had a full-time job. And she was like, so you're still at home?
Wow.
You're still no, but it was more of like, but I know
it comes from a good place.
Sounds bad.
No, but it comes from a good place. Knowing your mother, like it's not that she was trying to kick you out purposely.
Here's the thing: it sounds bad, and any Italian listening is like, is mangia cake. But here's the thing: I don't agree or disagree. Who cares? It doesn't really matter.
It's a minor detail.
But I think the point is like, well, wait a minute. You're in your mid-20s. You're a man.
You got a full-time job.
You got a full-time job. Why are you still here? And I think, and as I got older, I started to understand that even a little more. And when all my friends were poking fun at me at 27, 28, 29, I was like, guys, you're almost fucking 30, man. Like, we're not 17.
They're home saving money.
Saving money.
Yeah, that's the old Italian tradition.
A lot of them
even
weren't.
Though they work, we were raised, stay home, save your money. And save it for a house or a wedding, a ring, whatever it is. Like, that's what was ingrained in our heads growing up.
It's not that I disagree with it, but those are valuable years of your life where you could be learning. You could be learning about how to do shit on your own, how to pay shit on your own, how to struggle. That's what I went through.
Doesn't mean everybody has to struggle to make it big.
But struggling will help you grow. And that...
Yeah, but you can grow while also being at home.
Fine.
And still being a responsible adult and learning the value of $1 and paying for car and bills and groceries and this and that.
But that doesn't happen in the Italian culture.
Yes, it does, because my parents didn't pay for my car. My parents didn't pay for my credit card. I worked for them, and I learned the value of $1.
I know you did, but when I look at friends of mine and stuff, they had everything kind of handed to them. It was sad. Yeah. It was really, really sad. And like even 31, 32, like still living at home. My mother was, I'm not saying it's right, but my mother at least, she was making me pay $100 of rent when I was like 22.
My God, no, that would not fly.
But I wasn't in school. Culture. If I was in school, she wouldn't have done that.
Okay, I was in school till 26. Yeah. Maybe that makes a difference. And I'm a girl.
Yeah. Well, a girl, if you're working, what's the difference?
I don't know. Women stay home a little longer than men do. I think anyway, or maybe I'm just generalizing.
No, not necessarily.
I'm more old-fashioned. Yes, there's some girls at 18, 19 years old. They have no hesitation leaving the nest and going to school outside of town and living on their own. But that wasn't me.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know how we're supposed to be talking about in-laws, but
but it's part of it.
Yeah. I guess what we're trying to say is Christina and I have these conversations, and
we grew up a little bit differently.
Yeah, we grew up differently, but it's fine because we respect each other's families and boundaries and all that. But I think what I'm getting at is that, and if you are a parent, you understand. If you are becoming one, if you want to become one, you don't want to baby our kids. And we're seeing a bit of that like there's a certain age group right now that seems a bit entitled a little bit. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right? And we kind of want to bring back the old way.
We do. But I don't know how feasible that's going to be.
It's going to be hard, but I think we're going to make a damn effort because I don't like seeing 23, 24, 25
it's the 20-year-olds of today. The 18 to 30. that have that entitled bone in their
I
body.
hate it. It absolutely drives me crazy, and I can't stand it.
Yeah,
and I want
too.
our kids to work hard, and I don't want them to be spoiled. I don't want them to be, thinking they can get anything they want. And that's another thing with in-laws. Like, I have a fear that, like, I can see your family spoiling our kids, which is great, but I don't want them to overdo it.
But they'll be spoiled in different ways.
Yeah.
Not in the big sense. Like, they'll be spoiled with love and yes, with gifts here and there.
Of course.
But nothing else, really.
Yeah.
My parents are not going to go out and buy our girls a car or pay for fancy vacations when they're like 16. No.
But you see that with some families and like some grandparents and some parents.
Yeah,
and that's
you know what? Those are
the
fortunate ones, because not everybody's in that financial situation.
No, you're right.
And the majority probably aren't. So
right.
there's a very small group of entitled young adults out there.
Yeah.
And I hope that one day our children will learn to be a bit more humble and modest and learn the value of a dollar. And we're supposed to be talking about in-laws. How about, like,
how did we get on this conversation?
How my family annoys you sometimes, and how, like, I'm perfectly good with this family.
Oh, and my family's perfect to you?
No.
Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. You're saying
I never said your family was perfect.
No, but you just said how my family annoys you sometimes. Let's talk about what you think of mine.
Well, they can get under my skin sometimes too, but I think that's normal.
That's just the way it goes.
Maybe just one person in your family. The rest I'm good with, and I think that's why with this pandemic, I'm perfectly okay with having less gatherings in your family. Anyway, I know that sounds really mean, but I'm like just missing having the big gatherings. I think more with my friends, our friends. I think that's what we miss a lot right now. And
so funny,
and with families and birthdays and weddings. My God, last year we were at a wedding this weekend.
You're right.
That was the last time. We haven't worn a dress or a suit in 1 year.
I'm scared to try on that suit that I wore.
Yeah,
that time.
Me too.
That was,
actually, I was bigger because I had just given birth, so I was 6 weeks postpartum.
I love how you were just trying to throw me with your family under the bus. Not mention, look, that's but
I love your family. Honestly,
I love your family too.
They have welcomed me with arms wide open since day one. I love your mom.
Same thing with your family.
You make fun of me that I text and call your mom more often than you do.
Yeah, they talk on Facebook Messenger like all the time.
I send her pictures, and then we end up chit chatting, and she tells me details that she doesn't share with you. Then I tell you.
I know that. I find that annoying, but great at the same time that you guys are talking. So that's I'm okay with that.
I remember my father always saying that my mother and my grandmother, like my dad's mom, and my mom would talk more often than my dad.
But
I'm
okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's just for me, it was an adjustment because I was like, I don't even know this is happening.
So
no, I would find out things and I'm like, oh really? Shit, my mom went to the hospital for an appointment. Why, is she okay? Yeah, she's okay.
If she wasn't, you'd know because you'd run to the hospital to go see her.
But I can tell you one thing, and anybody who has been in this situation will understand what I'm about to say. The fact that you have a good relationship with my mother and I have a good relationship with your parents.
It's the best.
It is the greatest feeling in the world because and as we mentioned off the top, we've both been in situations where there's been like a little bit of tension and it's awkward. I don't know. It's hard to ever.
A little is an understatement.
Yeah, it's hard to overcome that. It's really tough. You try, and you have good holidays or whatever.
You always hit a roadblock.
Yeah, you always hit a roadblock, and then there's like something that resurfaces or happens, and you're like, "What the freak? Why did this is just never gonna get better?" Or you think it's gonna get better.
I literally had anxiety and nightmares if I were to have married my ex-boyfriend.
Oh, you almost called him your ex-husband.
Well, we broke up 9 days before our wedding, so he could have been my husband, and I would have been stuck with the mother-in-law of hell. Literally, I had an encounter with the devil. So I'm so grateful that I am no longer a part of that or that family, and that I found a much more welcoming, warming family like yours.
Thank you. And I can say the same to yours. Your family's I'm very lucky. I hate the jackpot on that. I've been saying that since the beginning. But we will say, just to give a little bit of advice before we wrap this up, anybody who is, and we see this, and we see it in the Italian culture because we can relate to it or whatever, or maybe you more, people who hold grudges with certain family members and stuff, and
so sad.
Like, let it go. If you're married to somebody and you're pissed off at their brother or sister or something, and you're like, I'm not gonna talk to them, just do whatever you can to try to be civil. You don't have to be close to them.
It's easier said than done.
Fine,
and it's unfortunate that I've seen it happen in my own family several times.
I know,
which is so sad given how close of a family we are.
I know,
and there's always a couple of situations that
I know.
Like that. Anyway, it's so sad to even talk about it.
It is sad.
It makes me angry thinking about it too.
One thing though, and I'll say this, you say because you guys are so close. I've said this since I met you. Sometimes being too close,
it's worse.
Is almost a bad thing. Yeah. Sometimes, a little percentage.
Sometimes, yeah.
Because
distance is good.
Distance is good. Like I always say, I have a great relationship with my brother and sister and all that, but we'll talk to them. I won't talk to them very often. I
know.
Here, and it's better that way almost. You see them on the holidays and this and that.
Life gets in the way too.
Now is a bit of a weird time, but...
No, but even pre-pandemic, everyone works and your sister doesn't exactly live down the street either. And
we're all not the best at keeping in touch.
Yeah, so you guys are a bit peculiar about that. At least you've mentioned that.
That's like a problem, and I wish it was better, and I wish there was something I can do about it, and I try.
Because I think if I had a sibling, I would be close to them and communicate with them a little bit more often than you do with your siblings. Yeah. Like, I have cousins that I talk to, like, almost regularly. And if I don't talk to them, we text or send pictures, communicate in some form.
Or, like, FaceTime calls with the kids. We don't even do that much.
We had, like, 3 FaceTime calls just tonight with the kids and my cousins and my aunts and uncles. And even your friends FaceTime.
I know.
So thankfully, we have this technology. But yeah, the Italians sometimes do hold a grudge, but I think it's across the board.
No, it's not just Italians.
I work in a hospital, right? And how many times did I come home and tell you, oh my God, I had this patient and she has 3 kids and nobody talks to each other.
I know.
And the patient literally is on their deathbed and the siblings are all coming at different times of the day to visit their mother, their father, and it's so sad.
And then it just
brings up waste of energy, brings up issues at the healthcare level, brings up issues financially.
That's it.
Real estate. Oh, it brings up so many. The will. Oh, God forbid.
It's just one thing after another. It's a freaking nightmare.
Yeah. Who makes the decisions? If there's no paperwork in place, power of attorney, and this is it's sad. So that's why we are very lucky that we are in good standing relationships with our families.
Yeah. But, that's what... But,
with each other's families.
Yeah, with each other's family. And you never know because you're marrying that person, but not everybody in their family is exactly like them.
No, of course not, but nobody is.
Yeah, you just have to find ways to... there's certain people that you're going to connect with, and there's other people maybe won't connect as well.
That's okay.
But you just have to find ways to be civil with each other. And again, I guess it's easier said than done sometimes because, some people...
You'd be dreaming in Technicolor thinking that you would get along with everybody.
Yeah, it's impossible.
It's impossible. So there's some you're going to connect with more, and others you're just going to be like, hi, bye. And that's it.
But to let shit bother you and let it simmer, we don't encourage it because
we don't.
You're eventually going to see each other when this damn pandemic's over at some sort of event.
Yeah, and then it's just awkward. You don't even know what to do. Do you approach that person? Do you say hi? Do you shake their hand? Do you give them a hug? Do you kiss? Oh, it's the word. I've been put in that position, and so have you, and I hated it. It sucks. Yeah.
I think we're done talking about each other's family.
Sure.
No?
More stuff we can.
You got more stuff?
No.
What's the kind of stuff you got?
I don't know. Maybe for another podcast.
Are you serious? I don't think we said anything incriminating. Did we? I don't think so.
No.
We didn't say anything bad.
No, not at all.
We didn't say anything. I thought we were going to get maybe juicier, but we...
Juicier like the meat from Steak Bleu.
Oh, yeah. Nice segue, babe. That's impressive. We got to talk about our friends over at Steak Bleu.
Ooh, their sirloins.
Who are proud sponsors of this podcast.
Steaks, tomahawks.
Very good. It's funny. Before we did this, I opened the freezer and I looked at those. Are they T-bones?
Yeah, they're T-bones.
They look so damn good. And I just said to Tina, I said, it's going to get warmer this week. We are freaking lighting up that barbecue because they look so juicy. They're nice and thick. They're nice little bad boys, man.
There was the veal chops, too.
Veal chops.
Yeah, steaks.
And we had the chicken.
Tonight we had chicken breast. We made it fajita style.
We made fajita style. So, I mean, of course, you can do anything. And they're vacuum packed. So all their meat, they're a meat company, by the way. And they'll deliver it right to your door. And if you have to, you're worried about going to the grocery store because of what's going on and you want food delivered right to your door, this is meat from a Montreal company that's delivered right to your door, and it's safe, and it's damn delicious.
Delicious.
So good. So check them out at Steak Bleu on Instagram. If you follow us on Instagram, which we encourage you at Cousin Vinny MTL. What's yours again? I always forget yours.
TM_1985.
It's
TMO. Sorry, TMO_1985. That's how much I use Instagram.
She's not the biggest Instagrammer. Oh, you're getting into it, though.
You're teaching me, though. You're teaching me.
Anyways, you can check it out at Steak Bleu. You can go to steakbleu.ca. And just for listening to the podcast, they want to knock off 10% off your first order, so just type in FAST10. And let us know if you do order and what you think. They have these variety boxes. They're under $100. every Friday night they deliver it, and every week it changes, and they're always so good. So hi to them.
Yes, hi to Tanya and
Joe and Mark and the entire crew. So that wraps it up. That was fun.
Yes, it was. In-laws, always a good topic.
Love you, Mary and Tony, very much.
I love you, Maureen. I love you. We named our daughters after our mothers. So
well, middle names.
Middle names. Okay.
Middle names. Yeah.
Fine.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. We highly encourage, if you have any topic suggestions, drop us a line. Please do not be shy. We want to hear from you. Do not be shy. We are here waiting for your comments and suggestions. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.